there's a lake up there. Oh, gotta be careful here. Hello. Last week was just a bit hard to deal with, and I wanted to kind of have a little weekend getaway for some time now, and I plan to go visit my very good friend Diana, because I haven't visited her in more than 2 years. Yeah, we planned the whole weekend out. We already knew what mountain we wanted to hike, and then in that same week we found out that the mountain was actually on fire. There was a wildfire spreading on one side of the mountain due to the drought, and we also have like this unusual heat wave, so a lot of kind of regions in the country where temperatures can rise really high are currently having a wildfire problem. We had to adjust to the situation, and you know, there's a lot of mountains that you can go hike up on, so we just decided to go to a different one. So we started our journey at like a mountain plain, and as we were slowly making our way up, it was so beautiful. We went early in the morning, but not as early as we would like. We were just too tired to go earlier. It was sort of like a sunrise, but not really. We were slowly making our way up and stopping numerous times in between to take photos and videos because the view was just spectacular, and the sun was just rising over the mountain, but not just yet. As we reached our first summit, we continued our way along the ridge, and we stopped at this lake, and the lake was so beautiful. I didn't know there was a lake up there. Diana told me. It was just so beautiful, and there was a lot of like remnants from the World War II, one or two, or both of them actually. You know, they had like a military base on top of the mountain, and like bunkers and stuff like that. So there was an invasion, and the whole mountaintop exploded, and there's lots of pieces of detonated bombs and like just a lot of metal wires and items still left there, like some relics or something, just scattered throughout the whole mountain ridge. And so we stopped at the lake to have a little snack and to dry our clothes off because we were sweating like crazy. And we stayed at the lake like for a while, I think for about an hour or even more. And at some point we were completely alone, which was just amazing. And we just took in the view because it's not every day that you see such beauty all around you, everywhere you look. So along the ridge there was like this limestone desert with nothing else but rocks, and all along the path there were these patches of grass where mountain flowers were growing, and there was an abundance of them, and so many different varieties. And I spotted some that are actually protected species. So we were in a national park, and some of the species are protected and you are not allowed to pick them, obviously. And they're just beautiful flowers, like nothing. You don't see any of these anywhere else. So it was about at this point of the hike when we continued our way along the ridge from the lake, that I started to feel a sharp pain in my hips, and my feet started to blister because I actually forgot my proper hiking shoes, so I just wore my sort of hiking shoes, but they're not really ideal, and I paid the price for that because my feet were just destroyed. So at this point I started to feel the pain, and we still had like a long, long way to go. And the rest of the journey to the top was still okay, but the journey back down was so hard. So we sat down for a little bit at the top of this mountain, and there were sheep there, and they were so funny. They were kind of afraid of us at first, but when they smelled our food, they kind of got encouraged and came over and licked our hands because they were salty. Yeah, like you shouldn't feed the sheep basically anything else really from their natural food, but sometimes you can give them like a tiniest bit of a treat, like a cracker or something, but it's not like recommended. So all of them came all of a sudden and wanted to sniff and eat everything, even your backpack or anything they can find. So you have to be careful so they don't eat anything that they're not supposed to. It took us 4 hours to descent from the mountain, which is not nearly as long as we needed to climb up. They always say, like, you think it's hard to climb a mountain. No, it's hard to get back down. That's the real hard part. At some point, I just had to take off my shoes because there was so much pain, and just walk the rest of the way in my socks, which was weird, but you know, it at least for a little while eased my pain. So it was really late in the evening by this point, and near our car there was a cabin that served like mountain traditional like mountain region food, and we wanted to stop there for dinner, and we actually didn't know if we were gonna make it, if it was still gonna be open. We were just so surprised that it was still open. We were so happy, and we ordered ourselves a mountain feast and just ate it with such delight. I almost cried with happiness when I got my sour milk and what do you call it, like buckwheat? Is it buckwheat? Like buckwheat stirs thingy, I don't know, but basically that's like a very traditional dish, and it was so good. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Next day, obviously we were so exhausted and everything hurt so much, but we decided to visit her sister. I haven't seen her in a while as well. We used to be in a dorm room together when we were in high school, all three of us. And we went to see her, and then we decided to go to an Italian beach nearby. Had a little swim and just relaxed for the rest of the day before I had to go home. And I went by train, which was actually really nice because they recently changed the trains exchanged the trains for new ones. I got to ride in a new train, and it was really pleasant. Like hiking up the mountain truly forced me to be in the moment, to not think about the future or the past. I was just thinking about what I was doing at that moment and just taking one step after another and taking pictures, and I was really present, which felt so good. I haven't felt like that in a while, and I'm trying slowly to live more in the now, to not think about the future or reminisce about the past, but actually experience the moment that I'm living right now, which is harder, I realized, than it looks, but it's so important. And I'm reading a book about it as well, and it just opened my eyes that I constantly live in my mind and think about what I could do and what's gonna happen next, and I neglect to indulge in the moment. And sometimes when I like at moments when I visit the forest, I live in the moment, and I explore my surroundings and look at everything and appreciate it for what it is in that moment. But when I'm at home, I just constantly like think about projects I want to do and what I want to do next. And so when I go to these hikes with Diana, or to the forest, or just any kind of activity like that, it forces me to experience things truly. While before we head down. Hey girls, what you doing? Chewing. Oh, my hat. Hi cow, how are you, my beautiful lady? Let the sweating begin. Ja. Där var det. Happiest woman alive. Amazing. 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 Diana. Okej, Sandra Vinda si živa.
Meu, tu kopaš gol zraven pa source of water.
Ja, pa internet.
Napet.
Nice.
Ljubotni.
Pusto.
Pusto. Ne.
To je ta glavno.
Au, ne me
To je
griz.
alfa.
Ne griz. Šš. Ne. Lumpene. Ja, ne me griz, ne me griz. Lahko poližeš. It looks so funny. What even? Evo, ide.
So umeš drugače.
Drugače reči.